Hello again. So this is just a little tutorial on how to get started thinking about your kindness stone. I bought this book for the art room. Since we're not there right now, I thought that we would use it just to get some ideas going. Now, scribble stones are really fun because they don't have to be anything more than a decoration or you adding some color and joy. So let's look in here at what some of our painting tools can be. I love this one because it gives a variety of materials. So we can use paint. Acrylic paint works best if we want to have it last for a long time, but it is kind of nice to think outside of the box as well. I experimented with some crayons. Crayons work great. Because they are going to be outdoors, you typically want to seal it just so it will last a little bit longer. Here's a variety of brushes that you can use. You can use square brushes, round brushes, sponge painting. You can also use all sorts of different tools, Q-tips, anything like that. So one thing that you can do is you can actually put stickers on, and the stickers will end up being a resist. So you can put the stickers on, color all over, peel the stickers off, and you can actually get a design. Same thing with the letters. So you could put painting on the rock, put the sticker on top, paint black over it, and peel it. So that's a fun one. You can also get different types of tools. So you can use, like I said, Q-tips, toothpicks, all sorts of things. You can get really detailed with it if you want. Their limits are endless. You can get super fancy. You could do some nature work. Right? You could do a bouquet, flowers. You could make little bugs, which are super cute. You could make fruit. So these are some great ideas to get started. What I wanted to show you were some of the rocks that me and my family have painted this so far. And these are ones that we haven't necessarily done for this project, but we've kind of done over quarantine time when we had some time on our hands and we had some things to do. So just a sample, this is actually done with crayon. So this isn't paint at all. It's just using crayon and pressing really hard to get the colors to come out. So there's that. This is done with chalk. This would not work for our outdoor kindness garden, but you can get color that way. So if you're interested in just doing them at home, chalk will work perfectly fine. This is crayon, so we're kind of playing with this scribble stone idea. So that's just crayon. This is using paintbrush and the back of a paintbrush to kind of get those details. We had some paint pens laying around, so my daughter did this one here where she was really just playing with the tools and mark making and filling it with color and decoration that way. Here's another one like that. This was done using just the back of a paintbrush, Q-tip, and a fine tip brush. This one here was made to look like a fish, and this was done with a small paintbrush, so you can get really detailed with these as well. Now, to get started, all you're going to need is you're going to need a few simple tools. Some people like to draw their design on first, so if you wanted to use a pencil, you can certainly use a pencil. You do not have to. You can kind of just do a freeform. I like to work on top of, this is just, I think, a dollar store tray, just in case I have any spills. It will spill right into the tray and I'll have easy cleanup, a little trick I learned with kids. And let's see, we have some different types of rocks here. I personally have on hand some acrylic paint. These are just really inexpensive. You can get them at any department store. A little bit will go a long way. So I put a little scrap piece of paper down. If you have newspaper or something like that, or some ads from junk mail, those are great. I also have a little cup of water. I'm going to put that right on the tray, so if there's any type of spill, you can see that this is a used cup. And let's see, I have my paint brushes. And I also have some paper towels just because I want to dry off my paintbrush after I rinse in between colors. So I'm going to put that here. And I'm going to just use a small paper plate. Sometimes with my kids, I'll actually just use aluminum foil off to the side and pour the paint right on that and just do a little bit at a time. That way I can just crumple up the aluminum foil and toss it when I'm done with it. I'm going to put my paint off to the side just because I don't have room on this tray. And I'm going to limit my color palette. Because this is what I have on hand, I'm going to use pink, purple, and this dark blue, but you can use any color variety that you wish. And again, I'm just going to shake it, okay? I just want to make sure that I'm getting any of those chemicals in there and materials kind of mixed together because they will separate over time. So just a little shake, a little bit of color on my plate, and I'm ready to get started. Now, I'm going to start with a base coat. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to decide what color I want for a background. It dries pretty quick because this is porous. Porous means that it will absorb almost like a sponge. So I'm going to just make sure my brush is clean. They're not always clean. So I'm going to rinse it out and then dab it off on my paper towel. Get all that water out. And I am going to choose purple. So I'm going to use my biggest brush and I'm going to coat the whole thing. Because I want to keep this simple, I'm going to make a few of them that I can put there. I'm just going to do a background on this. And acrylic paint, you do want to wear a smock. Acrylic paint is tough to get out of clothing because it is plastic based. It is the best for outdoor usage though. This will work well on flower pots as well. So if you wanted to do something like that, you certainly can. So I'm just going to coat this here. And I'm going to just kind of put it off to the side to let it dry. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because it's acrylic, I have to make sure that I wash my brush really well or it will turn hard. So I'm going to scrub my brush, scrub, scrub, scrub. And I'm going to dry it off over here and I'm going to leave it. Now, I was on a hike this summer and we came across at the top a little garden that somebody had planted, and we also noticed that there was a smile rock, meaning that it was just this beautiful little rock and it said smile on it, which I thought was so perfect because it really did make us smile and we loved seeing it. I'm going to take this pink and see if I can, oh, it's kind of transparent, isn't it? It doesn't cover this as well as I had hoped, but I'm still going to figure out how to make it pretty. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to see if I can do something here that's going to brighten someone's day. Maybe I'll just simply write a word, or maybe I'll do just a few decorations on there. Dry it off. It seems pretty dry. I can still see that there's a sheen to it, so I could give it a few more minutes. But for demonstration purposes, I want to show you different ways that we can use the paintbrush. So we just use the tip of the brush, which is the bristles. And this time I'm actually going to be using the back of my brush as a dot tool. So I'm going to dip into my paint, and when I dip into my paint, I'm simply going to dip, and I want there to be a little bit of a blob on there, not so much that it's dripping off, but enough that it will be able to transfer onto here. Oh, that was silly, I did purple. Can't do purple on purple, it won't show up. Let's try with pink, okay? So I'm just gonna make little dots all the way around. So dip, dot, and just going around just to create a little visual border. All right, and that will kind of keep everything tied in. You could do a line, you could do anything you want. Remember, this is your rock, you are the artist, so anything that you do is going to be perfect and it's going to bring joy to somebody for sure. And the more we have, the more people will see it from the road. I just think this is such a beautiful project that we can all simply participate in. Once I'm done going all the way around, I'm just going to clean off the back of my brush. Again, using my paper towel. Make sure you're not wiping it on a smock or things. Again, it does not wash out very well at all. And then we can simply try to write something. The other thing that you can do if you're not confident with writing with a paintbrush, you can always write with a Sharpie after and then use a sealant. Because I am going to write with this, I'm actually going to write, let's see, why don't I write happy, because I'm so happy we are going to be able to see one another soon, and there's a certain joy in seeing all of your faces. So it's a little bit thick, but that's okay. And I'm also noticing that the dark blue on top of the dark purple is not popping out the way that I necessarily want it to. So some options for that is I could go back in with a Sharpie. Maybe I have a black Sharpie and I can outline it that way to make it pop. Or I could go back with a fine tip brush again and use a lighter color, or even a toothpick. So once you're done with any of your work, I'm going to dry that off really well. When you're done with that, you're going to let this dry, and you really want to let it dry overnight so all of that shine can go away and it can really get nice and dry. And if you want it outside and you want it to really, really last in the Kindness Stone Garden, I found this really easy to use clear glaze. You can easily get it at any department store. This works really well. If you do not have this and you would like to have yours glazed, I am happy to do it for you. You can always leave it for me, and I can spray a lot of them at once with this. I mean, a can of this is going to be able to cover a lot, so I'm happy to glaze it for you if you can't do that. So again, this weekend, make sure that you, or not weekend, this week, please take some time to be part of our Kindness Garden at Major Edwards. Bring some joy into people's lives, show them some color and happiness by painting a rock. I hope you have fun. Bye.